anybody is already in here, congratulations. You are very, very quick. I'm just going to make a couple posts that we're actually live and we can start getting going. But it's not going to be a long one tonight. I got work pretty early in the morning, so let's get this info out there. This is great podcasting right now. Just me dicking around on my phone. All right, let's see who rolls up. All right. There's actually a couple people here. I think. Let me try and pull up everything else. Can everyone hear me? If you let me know in the chat, I should be able to see on my end. As long as you can hear me, we good. All right. People are starting to roll in. What's going on, everybody? Just a fun Thursday night. Thursday? Yes, Thursday. Can everybody in the chat let me know if you for sure can hear? Oh, perfect. Todd, you're the best. Rolling solo tonight. Jamie is, I think, playing Hello Kitty Adventure. That's where she was when I left her. Seamus is in a tent at Rockville right now, so he's not able to join on the interwebs, I don't think. So what's going on with everybody? How's your Thursday? Let me crack this beer open. I went and saw that new movie. I know it's not Final Destination, but I went and saw Friendship tonight. Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd as a interesting, bizarre, ridiculous movie. If you are a fan of Tim Robinson's style of comedy with I Think You Should Leave, go check it out because it just came out in theaters, I think, tonight. But super, super ridiculous. Cracked a cold one. I wasn't gonna drink, but I got work early in the morning, so just one beer. But this is the Sixth Man Lager. It's from Crooked Can. It's a little local brew, but magic oriented. Let's see what the chat is. Yes, they did. They dropped a new spec map. Well, wouldn't you know it? That's what we're going to be talking about. We actually have an episode coming out in about 25, 30 minutes. Completely unrelated to the spec map because we did not know that was coming. We also didn't get to discuss any of the... One second, my mic is... There we go. Yeah, it should be good now. What was I talking about? We didn't get to talk about the merc. Yeah. Sorry if I keep cutting in and out. I think my mic is jumping in and jumping out. Let me make sure it's on the right settings still. Yeah, we look good. Looks good on my end, I think. So, but yeah, so we'll talk about that spec map in just a second. Once people start rolling in, these usually get pretty fun, but it takes a little bit to get the word out, especially when I don't tell anybody and just kind of jump on randomly. But yeah. What else was I gonna do? Hello Kitty Adventure Israel. Jamie would agree for sure. She's super, super hooked on that. Clown in the Cornfield was pretty solid. I've been meaning to check it out. I feel like a bad horror fan. I also haven't seen Sinners yet. I went right into Thunderbolts. Saw that a couple times, and I got to get back out to go see
Sinners First, so it doesn't leave theaters, and then Climb the Cornfield. That looks really, really good. I think it's just a lot of people have been calling it like introductory horror, which I'm a fan of. I like that kind of easygoing style stuff. So I want to check that out. Finishing the tattoo, hell yeah. We actually tune into the episode in 30 minutes because we may mention it. We may bring it up. Um, let's pull this. So honestly, I'm looking at the spec map now. If I look like way up, it's because I mounted my TV as like a secondary screen for one of my laptops, and I put it way too high. So I have to like look all the way up. So I need to go live and talk about this. And Jamie was like, "You don't need to go live." I was like, "I know, I want to." But yeah, YouTube doing its thing with the notification. Perfect. Good, good. Get the word out. Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Tell your dog. Tell everybody. Um, I don't know if there's a way. I think I can share my screen and pull up the actual map. Let's see if I can do that, and we can kind of go around the go around the block a little bit. All right. So we think I got that.
There, I think it was at a different spot. Alrighty. I really wish I could organize myself a little bit more to make these lives go a little bit smoother, but this is kind of the fun part of it. This is really off the cuff stuff. Okay. All right. I got that old map. Hold up. All right. So it looks like the ring, the wrestling ring, has overtaken the pirate ship. I don't see the pirate ship or the Viking ship. I keep referring to it as a pirate ship. No Vikings, apparently. Huh. Interesting. I don't like that. Definitely don't like that. Um, hmm. Bobby, sound went off. Is the sound back on? It might have been when I was going to screen shares and stuff like that. Are we back live? This is the fun part of the live. I get to really scramble, play producer and recorder at the same time. I have to pop onto my own YouTube to see if I'm talking. Yeah, I think I hear myself. Okay, cool, good enough. Hopefully, it doesn't keep coming through. Okay, so that's weird. No Vikings, apparently. I don't know if I sold myself so much on the Viking that I thought it's coming. I can talk myself back into saying, hey, it's still only Spec Map 2. Vikings are going to be here somewhere. I bought the Vikings like hook, line, and sinker, and now I'm invested. So I'm just going to go and say they're just hiding somewhere. I don't know where, but I feel like Vikings was just too strong of a property to get off there. So that's interesting. So yeah, wrestling 23A, wrestling ring, little coffin, still obviously referencing WWE of some sort. I can't imagine it would be any other wrestling promotion. That would be really cool if there was no TV and they straight up pulled a swerve and it was like the Luchadors Scare Zone from Hollywood from last year. That was a weird little thing that I remember I mentioned that on like might have been a way too early episode like 2 years ago where I was like, I remember I wrote Luchador Wrestling for no reason. So that'd be cool. All right, Soundstage 22. That's where they had Fallout last time. I'm going off of Spec Map 1, not the Easter one. So I guess things could have shifted, but I'm just gonna go by like the real ones. Those were the previews. They were just kind of fun little holiday ones. So I'm just gonna strictly reference version 1 against version 2. So Soundstage 22, that was where they had Fallout on version 1, and now it's got these little Coliseum pillars, clearly a paintbrush and an artist. I'm curious if that has anything to do with the curator, which, if you didn't see our post today, the curator makes a sneaky little appearance in the Five and Dime on that little preview merch. He's got the green face, he's got the little tooth, he's got the dead eye, so you can tell that it's the curator, which is pretty cool. And again, I said something last. I said Evil Bob Ross would be an interesting thing. I think kind of fell down the rabbit hole of like musician, artist. If we weren't doing like TV director, television creator, or something like that. So that could be interesting. That's kind of a ballsy move putting it right up there in Soundstage 22, though. Unless that is like a straight up full on icon house, that would be pretty intriguing. Yeah, the ship is gone. Wait, yeah, it is. Apparently, I don't. I still buy it. I still buy Vikings. You could sell me the stock pretty low right now, but I'm still taking it. That one's pretty cool. All right, so the painting artist. Hmm. Like the Colosseums give me a weird vibe. It gives me like Victorian era, like very religious, like style paintings. I don't know how to describe it, but other than that the Colosseum is weird, very like Michelangelo stuff like that. And whereas the curator doesn't really tie into that, he was like the comic book artist, so I don't. That's a much different vibe. But maybe they're just trying to throw everybody off the scent a little bit. 23B on version 1 was the little bloody film strip, which has been long gone at this point, which I think even when we talked about it, I was like, I think this is just a placeholder image. This is sort of like a nothing burger. But we got Five Nights, that same little security camera, staying strong up front. That's a good spot for it. Jimmy Fallon Q. That's houses some pretty popular houses. What's crazy is this 24, Soundstage 24, the logo is slightly changed, but it's clearly labeled as an original and it's just stayed put. It's really weird that like this nondescript style image has lasted this long without us really knowing too much about it. I'm gonna die on the hill, and I think it proves my point a little bit more with the little preview merch section that it's given me like that graveyardy vibes. There's no like city landscape. There's no little devil mask on it anymore, but there is just like a tree in the middle of the two Siths. So it's or scythes. I keep flip flopping that. They're not Revenge of the Sith. It's scythes. Um, but it still gives me graveyard vibes. I'm still gonna go down on that hill. That plays even more with the little preview merch setup they had because you got like the vines and stuff on there, which is clearly included on the little setup that they put in there today. So that's pretty cool. In the chat, let me know. Are you getting more like graveyard vibes, or are you guys getting something else that I'm really not picking up on? Because I'm picking up on graveyard vibes, whether it's graveyard games or like Deadly Unrest or something original that like we haven't seen before. But that's sort of what I was kind of getting. Tomb of the Ancient vibes, that would be cool too. A little revisit of that. Like I am getting some like graveyard tombs. I don't want to say I almost said sarcophagus, but that's more Egyptian than anything. But I just that's the vibe I'm getting, and it blows my mind that this is like holding strong in that spot up there. Usually originals vary pretty much in these like early versions, and this one's really stayed on there. Mm. So soundstage 25, that big soundstage, only been used a couple times. They got the Terrifier bags there, or trash bags, which are clearly kind of giving us the hint of Terrifier. On version one, that was the little ghost thing, the little magnifying glass with the ghost image. That's clearly a non-factor at this point. I, I mean, I don't think Terrifier needs a soundstage. It unless unless they're putting that big Terrifier Funhouse entrance inside. I I don't know what all the space is for. Maybe they need. My biggest thing is like with Terrifier, if they have it, you need to have the Clown Cafe, which I guess maybe needs the big open space. That'd be a good place to put the old school bus that they use every year in the scare zones in some capacity. So I could see the school bus being repainted and tossed into the soundstage. So maybe you need the space for that. Um, Interesting. Moving along, Fast and the Furious, we have the campfire. I think is pointing pretty heavily towards the Friday the 13th rumors now, which only got fueled even more by that post today by Bloody Disgusting coming out and saying that this whole Jason universe is kind of a rebooting, new imagery of Jason. And they made note of it saying like video games, movies, and immersive experiences, which I'm kind of surprised the PRs didn't slip up and just straight up say like horror night. Like that seems like something that has happened in the past, will happen in the future, where it's just kind of wires get crossed and they're like, oh, we didn't know that this wasn't released and we're not in that department or whatever. So I feel like we've had slip ups like that in the past where somebody has straight up said something like, oh, this will be in Orlando in the fall or whatever. And then they have to scramble and like announce it quickly before it gets out too crazy. But the fact that they worded it immersive experience is like, okay, I think they're on the up and up and covering their tracks a little bit. Mm, it's a good beer. Crooked can. Good job, boys. Deadly Unrest had vines all over the walls. It did. You're right. That could play into it. Maybe it's not a Graveyard Games, but it's a Deadly Unrest, which I mean, I loved that zone. That zone was really really cool. I I feel like that's another zone that it's simple at the base level, but there's stories to be told there. Yeah, the immersive experiences had you. Yeah, same. It was like, all right, just say it without saying it, you know. Sorry, wait. What does the TV mean versus the revolver one? So the little cylinder is like a film reel, and the TV is I'm assuming based off of like TV shows or something like that because the Fallout Thumbs Up's got the little TV, and so does the wrestling, which is like weekly Monday Night Raws and stuff on Netflix versus the film reels, which will signify movies, which is interesting because the Jason, supposedly the Fast and Furious, right? The Jason universe, the Friday 13th, whatever you want to call it, it's got film reel, but like if it's this new Jason, I mean, it's kind of non-existent, right? It's sort of an original take. I don't think it's an original take on HHN's part, but it's obviously not going to be referencing any of the past franchise iterations. So that's like a very weird limbo situation we're going to be put into because it's like we know Jason, but this is a completely different Jason. I'm curious how the story's going to play out. This is the rights on this thing. I mean, I'm surprised if somebody hasn't already written a book on it because it's just so bizarre. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. Hey, huge respect for you to be here at the live on a random midnight when I got to work in like 8 hours. So yeah, like I said, I probably won't be our too long, but I did want to get on here and discuss a little bit. So let's move on. 10-3. This is kind of like 24 where it's sort of stayed the same, but it's a little bit different. They've updated it. I mean, not that it's that much different, but it's a different book. I don't know if that image on the book itself is telling. I don't know if that jumps out to anybody in particular. I don't. I think it. I mean, I get it gives me like witchcrafty, like seancey style vibes. The little snowflake still gives me winter, but I don't know. Maybe it, I don't want to say the Krampus stuff because it's I don't think we've heard anything about Krampus, but the symbols give me like folklore vibes. So I don't know if that's just me making it up, but you know, yeah, yeah. The masked man cometh, which is bizarre. If you go back and listen to, because I did this to get some clips for us, um, our way too early predictions episode back in November, I kicked it off by just straight up shooting a 3-pointer and saying, I think this is Jason coming back. Now I get it; it's low hanging fruit. You know, you could always say Jason, Michael, Freddy, they'll be here, and you're probably going to be right. But I felt the vibes. I don't know. Maybe I just willed it into existence. Couldn't tell you. But yeah, that was a pretty cool little shot in the dark. I always like to be. I like to go back and I hate listening to our episodes. Like I don't like listening to myself. But our predictions episodes, I like to revisit once time has passed to see kind of where I landed on things and make adjustments. Um, so tent 4 on the version 1 map was the trash bags. Now it is the little thumbs up fallout signification. So I think that was there on the Easter one. I like it being in the back tents. I think we talked about that before, but I like spreading out these IPs. Makes it a little bit more interesting. I'm curious if that will affect Fallout's wait times. I can't imagine people wouldn't go to it because it's all the way in the back, but I feel like up front is definitely like the prime time spots. But man, I just really hope they go all out in those tents because that it seemed like they had a lot more space to work with. Goblins, I think, utilized the space a lot more than monsters when it comes to like build up high and stuff like that. You had the giant like goblin cement statue kind of thing in the castle and stuff like that. So I think they got a lot to play with. So I'm really excited to see if that was like their testing ground of like how much they could play with it. And remember, those tents went up like really late last year. So like those builds were quick. This, with them already being up there, I think that gives them a little bit more time to like adjust and play with it. I wouldn't mind the Jason house being kind of an original take on Friday the 13th. Yeah, I'm so curious if it'll be like an original take or like a best of, or if it has nothing to do. You know, it's literally just Jason at a campground location. I don't know if they can say Camp Crystal Lake or not. I think it would be a shame if they couldn't. But the TV show is gonna be called Camp Crystal Lake, so maybe they've ironed out the rights a little bit. So I think it will just be. I don't think it's gonna be based on a movie. I think it's just gonna be Jason doing his thing in his setting, like Jason Camp Crystal Lake. That's kind of it. Evil Christmas Stories would be cool. House Snow book. No, that's where I'm kind of leaning still too. Like if it was just the book, I'd have really nothing to go off of. But the little snowflakes give us something to work with. So that would be. I mean, Evil Christmas Stories, Evil Christmas, anything Evil Christmas, I'm down for. The symbol on the book is the new merch. Gotcha. Okay, that's interesting because maybe just me like putting that artist thing with the curator, I would be like, okay, curator back, icon house up there. It's interesting that the preview merch icon would be on that. Maybe that's just Horror Night Nightmares guys being cheeky with it and just like throwing that on there last minute. It looks like it might have been drawn on or something on their end. So I'm curious. Scary Tales Christmas, that would be sick. I think that would be really fun. It'd be a cool way to like freshen up that franchise a bit because it's like how many more fairy tales can we go into? We've done it plenty of times beforehand, so I'd be down. I'd be down to see that. All right, keeps beeping in my beeping in my ears. I don't know what's going on. So tent 2 on the original, the version 1 spec map, that was the little astronaut kind of guy. I don't, and maybe that was like a toy at resemblance, but this one has like a little toy box, a little baseball bat and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's interesting. All right. Why is my sorry? My headphones are going crazy and beeping at me. Maybe it's all the comments. I don't know. I can't tell you. Oh, well, I'm gonna pretend to ignore it. Gotta love on the fly. I think it's beeping because of all the different chats that are coming through. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Whatever. I'm gonna push forward and pretend like I don't hear the constant beeping in my ears. So yeah, tent two, the little toys. That's interesting. I mean, I don't have much to go off of on that. I, toys, evil toys. Um, it's kind of a cool like concept to play with, but we're really not getting much from it. I mean, like looking back at that Tent 2 from version 1, it did seem very like Buzz Lightyear-y. So, I, evil Toy Story. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but I really kind of like that vibe, especially if it's a lot of like kid-looking actors. It's gonna be like really creepy. Tent One, Hatch and Chains. We don't really need to talk about that too much. Hmm. So let's see. Once again, I missed your guesses for the original. So the originals, I mean, Soundstage 22 is that little art brush, some kind of artist. I don't know if it's curator. I know people have mentioned like the Killustrator from, I think that was from over in Japan. That was one of their icons in the past. So that would be really interesting to catch. The beeping is just annoying me. Actually, I don't even need headphones. I don't even know why I have these on because nobody's talking back to me, so I can ditch those. Um, yeah, so that like little artist, painter kind of guy, be sick if it was evil Bob Ross. I'll die on that hill. Soundstage 24. I mean, people have definitely in the chat convinced me more Deadly Unrest because of all the vines and stuff like that, but I'm still either Graveyard Games or Deadly Unrest, I think is probably the best bet. 10-3, I mean, I guess we have to go with some sort of Scary Tales winter iteration. And then we have Hatchet and Chains, and we have the little toys. But I do think I'm not going to get off the Vikings rumor just yet. Spec maps change, things get updated, so I'm not jumping off of that. I'm not jumping off that ship yet. So that's what we got for that, and we have scare zones now. Just four of them, which I get it. Call it four scare zones because when you call it five and you give us four, it kind of pisses everybody off. That little front zone is it's such a shame that they haven't figured it out because it is fun even when you do stuff that is like the table of contents style scare zone. Like it's still fun. I remember I was like either 27 or 28 when they had like all the TVs of the different IPs and stuff they had. That was when they had Stranger Things and stuff. Like that was I view that as a table of contents, and it was still a fun zone. But when you just put the truss up and you just put the chainsaws and you throw a couple drapes around there, like it was just that was weak. Unfortunately, it was weak because you could have done something cool with the duality of fear, and you could have done a split right there. So that was a little bit disappointing. So I'm curious why they. Um, so I'm not really surprised as to them going in the direction of having four zones instead of five. If you call it five and you give it four, you're going to disappoint somebody. So these are all very bizarre. I can't really see what's in that little. Let me try and zoom in. That little biohazard symbol. It looks like there's something in there. Um, I don't know. Is it? It looks like a Damn, what is that? Like a shot or something like that with like little blood drips out of it. I don't know, is it too soon for a biohazard vaccine-based scare zone? Still a hot topic, I guess. I don't know. Biohazard. That's interesting. That would be a fun. That's a fun New York zone. You could fill a lot of space with that for sure. Um, Hollywood had the toy tinker a couple of years ago. Maybe his toy chest could be. I remember they had like a Toys from Hell. I don't know if that was a zone or a scare zone or a house over there. Let me do some quick little on the fly research because I remember talking about that a while back, being like that would be kind of cool. So we had back in the day, it looks like, at HHN 6 we had Toy Hell, Nightmare in the Scream Factory. This is a house over at Nazerman's. That okay, I'm gonna have to research that a little bit more for our actual episode. But there was at Hollywood in 2012 and 2023, there was a scare zone just straight up called Toys. But it had a Z on it because I mean we're not the biggest Hollywood people, but they love putting Z's on the end of their stuff for whatever reason. So yeah, that was a thing. I'll research that a little bit more. Um, San Francisco looks like that's the E from Megan, and there's the little film reel. So that's we're just gonna do a straight up Megan zone. That's interesting. Dead exposure biohazard. Okay, you know what? Yeah, they did that. What they did that last year at Hollywood, I think, right? They took dead exposure but turned it into. I mean, they took the name dead exposure, which didn't really play into their dead exposure. But again, if we're cutting corners and saving money, um, whatever they use in Hollywood, they can ship that stuff over. So a Megan scare zone, I don't know how you really do it other than just like a stage and Megan's. Like that's it's a little disappointing just because I don't. There's no props. There's no like cool settings unless they know something about the second movie. I don't. Like, are they just gonna put the giant Blumhouse banners back up and just say like Megan Zone? Is it gonna be the Megan Bar? Is it only pink drinks? Is it meet and greet? Is the flash mob back again? Like there's a lot of things I guess they could do, but it's just I don't know. Just over Megan. Um, Central Park. I gotta zoom in on this thing too because I have no idea what this thing is. And it looks like a cat. And it's got whiskers. Oh, okay. It's half cat, half wolf, I guess. Werewolves? I don't. That's a weird concept. Um, Maybe if it's like traditional Halloween, we can get those pumpkins back up in the trees. That would be interesting. That's a bizarre take. Like cat. Like are they just gonna be in like leotards and like little? Is it like Cats the musical? Evil cats? All I can think of is Modern Family when Cam dresses up as the cat and gets stuck up in the tree. That's okay. I guess we'll. I don't want to judge it too early, but bizarre take, I'd say. And then it looks like over in Hollywood, we got the little jester mat or jester mask. Now, I don't know if that's sort of masquerade or if it is um, Mardi Gras murders, which could make a cool scare zone. You could have people throwing beads, like take the extra beads from Mardi Gras, put a float out there. I think I would much rather it be. I think the rumors have been pointing at more of like a Victorian era masquerade, but I would prefer a just a straight up Mardi Gras, like turn it into like a Bourbon Street. You could have like the puking guy with like puke all over his shirt. You could have the Mardi Gras murder jester running around killing people. You could have just a bunch of I don't know nonsense, a little New Orleans nonsense. The Animorph, yeah, like the little books, the little Animorph books. I might have to make that into a meme tomorrow or something when I'm bored at work or overtired because I stayed up late on a live for God knows why. But Animorphs would be interesting. I mean, that was kind of like what I thought was going to be Jungle of Doom. I think that was sort of the basis to start, where it was like it was supposed to be like these uh, jungle animals morphed into these other creatures, and I was like, oh, that's cool, like hybrid creatures. That's an interesting concept, but it didn't really play out too much in there. But all right, let's get rid of this map now. Let's just go full me. Sorry, you guys stare at me now. Yeah, that's a quick little rundown of the map. Like I said, it's not gonna be too long. I mean, does this, everybody in the chat, let me know, does this excite you more than the last couple maps? Does it not really change? Are you just ready for Horror Nights anyways? Doesn't really matter what is gonna be there. We're gonna show up anyways. I mean, they put out a shirt that just literally said HHN 2025, and I went to the park to go check it out. I didn't get it, but that was um that was fun. Yeah, we'll be there regardless, so I don't really care what's there. It does have Nightmare Fuel on the map as well. I didn't talk about that, but it's still on there. But yeah, it is a little after midnight. I should probably be hopping off shortly. Um, I mean, obviously we know what we're gonna be talking about next week, so that's already booked for us. Trivia, we have trivia on Wednesday night. Definitely come out if you're in the area. You can listen on the episode. I kind of talk about if you are for sure 100% coming, message us, let us know, and I will do my best. I already have a good amount of people, but I might be able to sneak a couple more in. I'm going to try to like line tables up and reserve seats for people just so that way it's a little bit less of a scramble and I can sort of plan better so I can have a lot of either bigger tables or smaller tables based off of the parties that are coming. So let me know if you're for sure 100% coming, if you prefer the bar top or a table, and how many people are going to be in your on your team. And I'll do my best. I'll message you back and let you know like if I can or can't, and I'll try to give you an update of time of what time you should be showing up for that event. Yeah, yeah. Houses could be strong. This could be another like meh scare zone year and like really strong houses. The lineup is all over the place. I mean, we got wrestling, you got Five Nights, you got Fallout, you got a slasher, you got a new slasher, and you have some very intriguing one, two, three, four, five intriguing originals with a straight up 5-5 split. So uh, it's it's really interesting. I kind of wish they would stick with those 6-4s. I like the originals a lot better. Ah, yeah, they definitely haven't hyped anything up themselves, so we're definitely doing our own part. Um, for a party of one. No, I mean you don't have to. I mean we should be able to have space for you. But if you want, I can always write up your little your name on like a little sheet, a little team sheet, and save a little spot for you. There's a couple parties of one as well, so maybe when we get there, maybe if you want to like team up, like more than welcome. I've had that happen in the past. Every time we've done an event, a trivia event, there's been a couple people that have kind of rolled up solo, and it is fun joining up with like other people because you know why they're there, right? Like we all love horror nights, so it's not like it's a completely random arrangement, but it's better your chances a little bit of getting these some of these prizes. I really gotta get to work and start dividing up these prizes because I got a good amount of them, but I want to make sure that they're split up evenly and, and fairly. But yeah, I think that's really all. If you have any last minute questions, let me know. Our episode went live 12 minutes ago, so if you're double dipping, that's awesome. But let me know if there's any last questions before I hop out of here because I'm going to polish this beer off and I got to go to sleep. I got to work early in the morning. Jamie's going to be so mad I stayed up late. Ah, well, this was fun. I like this new live option. It's pretty cool. It gives me a chance to kind of talk live time with people. But all right. Well, I think that's a good stopping point. I'm going to wrap it up and get on out of here. Listen to the episode. Give us a follow on Instagram if you're already not following us. If you somehow, if this popped into your YouTube algorithm, give us a follow. Give us a subscribe. Like the video. And we'll see you at trivia. We're going to do live at the trivia event as well, I believe it is. I'm going to do my best to set that all up so you can watch it even if you are far, far away. So we will see you on Wednesday. Wednesday, yeah. And if you're at Epic Thursday or Friday, I'll see you there. All right, take care.